I'm not the best FIFA player ever, but I would definitely say that I'm above the average. I win a lot more games than I lose, and when going through FUT champions, whether it be the weekend league or champions playoffs, I end up forfeiting a lot of my matches because I achieved the rank that I wanted to go for. So in this video, I'm sharing my most used formations in FIFA 22 Ultimate Team, so that if you're struggling, you can use what I'm using and hopefully you'll have some success. But before I do get into the video though, if you're looking to get some very easy coins which saves you from having to make any types of investments or any type of trader methods, then there is no better place than Mule Factory. Over there you can get yourself some cheap, fast and reliable coins, and if you use Fnatic5 at checkout, you'll also be able to get yourself a 5% discount. Link can be found in the description down below. And getting back into the video, if you're the worst player ever within this game, simply changing formation will not make you the best player overnight. But by changing formation, it could better suit your playstyle for you to hopefully perform a bit better. Hopefully the players that you want will be in the position that you want, so you're able to play a simple pass into them and actually proceed with the playstyle that you have. In this video, I'm going to be sharing the formations that I use and the best formations that I've used so far within this game. The first formation on my list is the 4-5-1, and the reason it's in here isn't actually because it's the most amazing formation ever for you to go in game, but it's because it's one of the easiest for you to use to build your team, make it a hybrid and get 100 chem. Because of the triangles and diamonds that you have in the center, it's easy to use them to get full chem, and because your right back and right mid only have 2 links the exact same as your left back and left mid, it means that as long as they have links to each other, which are green links, they're not going to lose chem. You can very easily have your goalkeeper linked to your 2 center backs to give them full chem. You can then easily have your right back linked to your right mid, your left back linked to your left mid, and that will give them full chem. And then you could do whatever it is you want to do with your center mid, 2 cams and striker. There have been occasions where I've used this team, and in game I've switched Kante and Ronaldo around in a 4-5-1, but I have stuck to the 4-5-1 formation and it's done very well. There always seems to be space for my right mid and left mid, and then I could drive that ball forward to lay it off to my cams to get some shots away, or even drive it forward even further up to my striker. If you are going to be using this though, I would recommend that you have someone defensive within your center mid position, and on top of that, in your instructions you go to your cams, change the defensive support and make sure that they come back on defense. If you don't do that, there could be a lot of situations where your opponents will simply just pass around your center mid and your center mid is doing all the work. This year for FIFA 22, there's been a lot more players that have been using this formation compared to what they've been doing in previous years. And it's partly because it's a great formation for you to use straight away to get 100 chem, but it's also a very good formation, being well balanced in all areas of defense, midfield and attack. Other formations such as the 3-5-2, which is also another great formation that you could use to build a team to get 100 chem, it's lacking. Midfield is great, the attack is great, but it just feels like it's lacking in defense that you have 3 center backs. So for a lot of people, they don't like using that formation as their starter formation, even though it's great to build a team, because they feel weak in defense, and defense just isn't their strong suit. But a 4-5-1 is well-rounded in all areas. The next formation on my list is the 4-3-2-1, and this formation has been popular for the last couple of years. There's so many people that like the defensive cover of having 4 at the back. They like having 3 mids where they can control the midfield and be able to pass around a lot of different other formations. But they also really like the idea, and this is the big selling point, is that you're really playing with 3 strikers, with your right forward, left forward, and your striker. Now, the reason that I really like this formation is because it's very simple for you to overpower your opponent's defense. With my current team, I start with a 4-5-1, but as soon as we get to kickoff, I change to a 4-3-2-1 and switch the team up to be this. In my defense, I have Hakimi, Van Dijk, Varane and Mendy, the exact same as the 4-5-1. In midfield, I have Vinicius, Kante and Ballack, and then up front, I have Messi, Ronaldo and Mbappe. And the reason it becomes so easy for me to overpower my opponent's defense is because on Hakimi, I tell him to join the attack to push forward. With Vinicius, I tell him to push forward, and with Messi, I have him on getting behind. And because I play a lot of FIFA down this right hand side, it means that I eventually have this link between Hakimi, Vinicius and Messi. Between that triangle there, plus still also having Mbappe and Ronaldo up front, there's a lot of players going forward, give me a lot of options to pass to cut back if I need to, or to drive forward. But still, with having these players push forward, we're not open at the back. We still have Van Dijk, Varane and Mendy in defense, and Kante pretty much acts as another centre back, with Ballack being a sole midfielder at that point. The next formation that I use is the 4-1-2-1-2 brackets 2. This is normally the formation that I go to once I've managed to get 1 or 2 goals and I don't want to push as many players forward, and I just want to keep it as balanced and as defensive as possible while still having an attack. This is extremely well rounded, having 4 defenders, 4 midfielders and 2 strikers. It does lack with its width, especially once you try and go on your attack. You haven't got anyone to actually switch it to wide unless your fullbacks are pushing slightly higher, but with this I normally have them both on stay back whilst attacking. But with this formation, you will be able to just pass directly straight down the middle, always having options when pushing forward, going sideways, or even coming back to the defense. With this formation, more than any other formation, it's simple 1-2s. You take it back to the simple days of football where you just do an LB, A pass, get that player to run forward as he passes the ball, and then you just immediately pass it back to him. With all of my defenders, I have them all on stay back whilst attacking. The exact same with my CDM, which is Kante, have him stay back whilst attacking. My 2 midfielders being Vinicius Jr. and Michael Ballack, I both have them on default. I don't change anything. With Messi as my cam, I keep everything as basic except from his position in freedom, which is on free roam. This actually starts to mix it up a bit as he pushes slightly to the right or slightly to the left. And finally, with both our strikers being Mbappe and Ronaldo, I have them both on getting behind. Plus with Ronaldo, I also have him to stay forward. The truly great thing with the 4-1-2-1-2 formation, no matter which one you go for, whether or not you have your left mid and right mid, or you're going for the center mids, the really awesome thing is your cam. Whoever you have here, make sure that they have strong passing, but at the exact same time, make sure that they have good long shots. As you have both your strikers trying to get in behind, you have the option to either try and pass to them, or as they're trying to get in behind, it pushes the centre backs to actually follow them and man mark them, giving you enough space with your cam to drive forward and then actually take a shot. And if you have good stats within your long shots, hopefully you'll be able to get some good goals. The next formation on my list is the 4-2-2-2. This is a formation that's never worked well for me before in Ultimate Team, but with FIFA 22, it just works. Of course, you need to have some very good attacking players within your starting 11, and even though it has got it as cams, I think it's better for you to find cams with pace, or in my situation, actually use left mids and right mids to fill those positions. And with the current players that I have within my team, it works out like I'm playing with 4 strikers. I have Messi as my right-sided cam, Vinicius Jr. as my left-sided cam, and then up front I have Ronaldo and Mbappe. But despite playing what feels like 4 strikers within game, I'm still defensively covered with 4 defenders plus 2 CDMs. In game, with how I've set up, it doesn't even feel like there is a midfield. It feels like I'm playing with a 6 at the back with 4 up front. And this isn't the only formation that's like this. The other formation, which is also part of this video, is the 4-2-3-1. It still has the exact same defense, with it being 4 at the back plus the 2 CDMs, but then you have 3 cams and a striker. It's actually seen as a slightly more defensive version as the 4-2-2-2 because you have that 1 less striker, but that 1 extra cam. Yet again, with how I've set my team up with the players that I've currently got, it doesn't feel like they are cams. It feels like they are strikers, being Mbappe on the right side, Messi in the center, and Vinicius on that left side. All 3 of these players are attacking players. All of them will be pushing forward, striving to get extra goals for the team. This gives you a lot of options when pushing forward, but it still gives you in a secure position with your formation for you to still be defensive so you don't get hit on a counter attack. As long as you can defend and you do have 2 CDMs which have high defensive work rates, you're in a good position for you to be able to get that ball and then immediately push it back up to your cams. And this is for both the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-2-2-2. So this is how I've actually set up my team. The starting formation is the 4-5-1. Sometimes I play with this, most of the time I don't though. I use this formation to make sure that I get the most amount of chemistry out of the players that I have within the team. As soon as I get into a game, I will immediately go to a 4-3-2-1 to try and overwhelm my opponents down that right hand side, with Messi, Vinicius and Hakimi has all of them pushed forward for me to do a driven pass across to the likes of Ronaldo or Mbappe to get easy tap-ins. If my opponent is a very good defensive player and can very easily manage those players pushing down that right hand side, this is where I switch up from going from trying to get down the wing to going for something a bit more narrow, being the 4-1-2-1-2 brackets 2. Which one of these two formations I select all depends on my opponent, his team and how he's currently playing. If I change these formations and I'm successful and I manage to go 1-0, 2-0, maybe even 3-0 up, that is where I'll go to one of my defensive formations, which is the 4-2-2-2 or the 4-2-3-1. Both of them give me 4 at the back plus 2 CDMs, but still giving me the options to the attack. Before this, I used to go to very ultra defensive formations, 5 at the backs, making sure that I had as many players back as possible. Unfortunately, with FIFA 22 this year, as soon as you go 2-0 or 3-0 up, your opponent suddenly gets all the momentum. It seems like their players just turn into absolute gods on the pitch. So whenever I change to a very defensive formation to secure my lead, unfortunately, I've choked. And I've done this many times live on stream. So instead of me going for a very defensive formation, such as a 5 at the back, I will go to a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-2-2-2 to have those extra center defensive mids. But I still have those cams and strikers which can very easily pick up the ball in any part of the pitch, still drive forward, still play some very good and crisp passes, and still be able to take long shots from outside of the box to score goals or even finish inside of the box. That way I'm not going ultra defensive with an extremely defensive formation. In fact, I'm trying to keep it balanced. Make sure that I still have defensive players to help me out in defense, but still have attackers on the team, not just to do counterattacks and over top through balls, but to still be able to play, still be able to dominate the midfield, still be able to pass around, but still be able to get good goals. These are the top 5 formations that I've used within FIFA 22 so far. When EA releases another patch, this may change up, but as of right now, these are the formations that I'm sticking to, and these are the ones that are doing best for me. If you have any questions about anything, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.